Ruthless truth, yeah, ruthless truth. Get down, it could go bad for you. Hit like, comment, subscribe, you know what to do. Be cool. City lights shining so bright. Fine dining nights feels right. Flights to places far from sight. Get right. Ruthless truth, yeah, ruthless truth. Get down, it could go bad for you. In the city where we move, stay cool. Underneath the neon glow, life is fast but take it slow. Every moment like a show. Let's go. Dancing through the night, we got energy flows we can't hide. Feel alive, we outside. Moments fleeting but we shine. In this rhythm we align. Time flies. Moments fleeting but we shine. In this rhythm we align. Time flies. Ruthless fleeting but we shine. In this rhythm we align. Time flies. Ruthless truth, yeah, ruthless truth. Get down, it could bad for you. In the city where we move, stay cool. Stay cool.
Hey, nobody bigger than the program.
What's up, YouTube? Back at it again with another banging topic. Today we're going to discuss risk versus reward. Women are guilty of emotional entrapment. And this is a very, very new thing I'm bringing out. I think I'm starting a new movement. Emotional entrapment. And how do women do that? They get up under you. They let you say all the things you want to say. They tell you yes. They give you everything you want to hear. And 5-10 years later, they're divorcing your ass. And you're entrapped. You're emotionally entrapped now because you're like, damn, we can't work this out. And that's why they're leaving so much. So the risk is when you get with a woman that either you have to worry about her emotional instability or her being influenced by, friend groups, work husbands, stuff like that, just outside influences. And you have to worry about her feelings changing for you. That's the risk. Reward, what's the reward? The reward would be forever, right? I mean, if you're going to pay a ransom to marry this woman and have kids with her, the only equivalent price, or I would say return on investment, is y'all to finish the deal. That will be the reward. So the risk outweighs the reward. But why do men keep taking these unprecedented risks? Why do they do it? Why do they keep falling for the okie doke? Because the women emotionally entrap them. And how do they do that? So let's break that down. Emotional entrapment, right? Like I said, they sell you the dream you sell them. They sell it back. They're showing up. They're doing everything they're supposed to do. Y'all got 5 years in. Good, strong 5 years. You ain't cheating. She ain't cheating. And y'all put the work in. Bam, here comes the ring. Here comes the ring. Bam. Yes, I do. Now you're trapped. Because for a woman to accept that ring is an emotional high for a man. We don't deal a lot in emotions, but that is, when a man put a ring on it, that is an emotional acquisition mixed with financial investment. So that's a heavy, heavy price, right? And so therefore, once you get the ring and over the threshold, shit, guys pretty much, they're locked in. If, listen, all the women got to do is, be chill. That's all she got to do is be chill. And that guy will stay. He will stay. Now, guaranteed, it's never going to be perfect, right? It's never going to be perfect because no one's perfect. But what the women are doing at the divorce rate of 800,000 divorces a year are leaving you after they have emotionally entrapped you. She's not the same person she was 3 years ago, 4 years ago. This is where we men have to understand a woman, because her emotions is that's her livelihood. That means, as we know that love, happiness, and all that stuff is fleeting. Anger, frustration, depression, fleeting. And women, they really indulge in this a lot, a lot. So it's kind of, you're trapped. She traps you into that emotional roller coaster that she's going through. And this is where you get the sections of marriages. This is where you get the happy wife, happy life. So why don't women cater to you once you marry them and you're paying all their bills and you're doing everything you're supposed to do? Why they don't cater to you? Because once they see that you're emotionally trapped, they win. They know they win. They know they got the courts on their side. They got you where they want you. They got you where you want to, because guess what? But you gonna take her to court? She taking you to court. Or maybe not. Let's say she doesn't divorce you. Let's look at this as a positive. Let's look at this as a more positive reinforcement, right? Let's say she slays, right? Her mood swings, her instability in her emotions, her complaining, her delusional attitude about life. It is a heavy, heavy duty to try to manage that. And us men will say, well, you got to be better leaders. But it's hard to lead poor followers, especially followers who are invested in something other than you. A woman will put her emotions before you. That's why the risk is not worth the reward. Because if it lasts, the man is going to get neglected 100%. He's going to have to, the reward is the man will have to acquiesce pretty much to everything the woman says. The reward for the man is you have to keep her emotions in check. and hope she doesn't leave you. That's the reward. So all the stuff you're doing to get married, right? All the stuff you do to get married and put things together, it's the reward you're trying to benefit from that. And the reward men are getting from women, if they are having a relationship that's long-standing, is a lot of complaining, a lot of emotional instability, a lot of, combative. And this is what men are getting, right? This is why the women are leaving, right? The women are leaving because her risk is different. Women's risk is almost nothing. She keeps the kids. She's going to get child support or some sort of form of payment. She's going to have to be supported. People will step up. Baby, stepfathers are lining up by the millions now. So a woman risk is her feelings, right? That's what she's risking. That's the only thing she's risking, right? Because the baby, that's why she wants the baby. He wants it. Both of y'all have to unite and want the baby. So what she risks is her feelings, that maybe he might hurt her feelings. That's her risk. But everything else is but reward. The woman reward is she walks away, or if she stays with, if women stay with you, what is her reward? Let's look at that. Let's walk that down. What happens if what is the reward for women get for staying with men? She gets her bills paid for. She doesn't have to worry about the roof over her head most times. She gets in-house dick. She gets to keep the house in order, to everything the way she wanted, pretty much. Most men are just gonna let the women do what they do, right? We don't really like to get into the decorating and the main organizing of the house. We really just like to come home. What's up? What up, Lord ADS? So a woman reward is she pretty much gets a lifestyle. Even if she's 50-50. Even if she gets 50-50, she gets to get to a place that she couldn't get to by herself. And that is a hell of a reward. So why are they leaving? Why are they divorcing so much? If her risk is just her feelings, right? And the reward is she's getting her bills paid as a wife. Even if she's 50-50, he's paying half, right? So she's saving a lot of money to put up. She keeps her own bank account. She got her in-house dick. She ain't got to go out looking for it. She ain't got to worry about going out to the clubs, twerking, none of that. She got her in-house D. She got someone she could at least talk to. And she doesn't have to worry about him stealing from her. Right? They've been together for over 8 years. So her reward is at a high premium. But the question is, gentlemen, why are they leaving this? Why would you leave a situation where you're safe from niggas playing you? You got a man who is going above and beyond. Okay, so what? He's gonna not perfect. He might get some extra coochie, or he might gain a little weight, or he might be with his friends sometimes too much. But all that can be worked out. but you're benefiting. She's benefiting at such a high rate, even if he's just an average earner. And he got really good credit, 800 credit score, and he's able to get a house. He just saved up and put 50, 25, 30,000 down, got a mortgage, couple cars, maybe one car, but she can fit in that roof. She doesn't have, and she may, let's just say that she has to go 50-50. She's still saving half her check. Let's just say, right? Worst case, she's paying 50-50. She's saving half her check. She's putting away money too. She has a roof over her head. She ain't got to worry about come home. Now, most men, if they get them a side piece, they're not bringing that chick to their house. So she ain't never got to walk in and worry about another woman in her bed. Married women are winning. But why are they leaving? If you're winning, why do you leave? The risk is low, right? A married woman risk for getting her heart broke is very low because we already have the numbers that men pretty much don't divorce at a high rate. There are a few instances, but for the most part, men stick with it. So the woman, her risk of getting hurt as she's married is very, very low. Why? Why is her risk so low? One is the man has invested a lot of money in her, most likely, right? And he's emotionally tied to her, as well as kids. And as well as he just wants one woman. He don't trust a lot of women. He don't want weird and strange women every night. He wants to come home to one beautiful woman and build and get to a place where there is harmony, where the house is at harmony being ran. No, I mean, there's always going to be agree to disagree, but for the most part, the man really wants the family to get to a place where they can just be happy together. But why are the women leaving? And most likely, let's mine this out. Let's just say the man is commit infidelity, right? But we understand that's like 96, 97% chance that if he did that is because his wife wasn't performing. Listen, if a guy married, her performance is on an all-time high, she doesn't even have to cook, but just keep her body in shape, twerk on him when he get home, give him the things that, so he won't have to look nowhere else. That nigga will not get another bitch. But most times they get a side piece because the wife that they marry is not performing up to standards. So he just supplements. But he doesn't have no plan to leave his wife because he loves his wife. Right? He don't want to divorce her most time. The side piece just supplements what he's lacking at home. So why are the women leaving if they're benefiting so great? The reward outweighs the risk. The only thing women risk is their feelings. And I'm not saying that's not important. I'm not saying that's not important. Their feelings aren't important to them and even to her husband, right? But she benefits in every way. Like I said, she gets most times, 98% of the time, the men are paying them mortgages, man. Keep it 100. Very rare. It's very rare a woman's paying half that mortgage. Why is she? They're leaving. You know why they're leaving? Because it's not enough. Even if this nigga's faithful, they're still leaving. So, the risk for the women is way lower than the risk for the man. The risk for the man, he risks at losing half his 401k. He risks at losing his kids. He risks at losing the house. His risk is way greater, but he leaves way less. He risking losing his bitch. He risking his girl divorcing him. So why aren't the men leaving more than the women? And then she emotionally entraps him. She takes the ring. She says, I do, baby. She says, I do, baby. Then they say the wedding vows together. Promise to hold you. Promise to love you. I do, baby. All of it say good. She got that white dress on, face covered up, her husband walking down the line. And, she tells that man that, hey, baby, I'm here for you forever. Forever, ever. Forever, ever. 6 months later, 6 years later, you wake up, you smell bacon in the kitchen, you get pancakes, and you look up, you go to the dresser, and you see the divorce papers. We got a guest coming to the show. Oh man, it's uh-oh. Ooh.
What's something that give you butterflies?
Money. Money gives me butterflies.
Big dog barking. Most men sign up for bad deals because they like flash more than fun. No, big dog barking. You're so wrong. I mean, I ain't gonna say you're wrong, but your context in the way you put it, what you mean men like more? Dude, you can only pick what you're attracted to. I'm confused about you niggas. I'm confused. Well, he likes flash more than fundamentals. What you mean fundamentals, nigga? It's like basketball practice. When he is building with that woman, when he is taking her out on these nice dates, they're not always expensive. We just say, Chili's. She ain't complaining because Chili's is a damn near upgrade from In-N-Out, right? And he's spending his time with her, and he's listening to her bullshit ass stories and her bullshit ass problems that he's taking on and said, baby, I'm here for giving you this ear. I'm giving you this shoulder to lean on. Yeah, but you can't, big dog barking, you cannot take away the laws of attraction. Even women are not going to marry, most women are not going to marry a guy they're not attracted to. Most women ain't going to sleep with a guy they're not attracted to unless they drunk. That nigga will be dead to them. Same with the men. I don't see this is crazy, right? It doesn't matter the looks, right? But what I'm saying is men and women, we are human. And the first thing that puts us in a position to want to build with someone is the laws of attraction. That's the first part of it. And then it goes from, okay, next step to next step to next step. Now, sometimes, big dog barking, sometimes feelings, or we can't, emotional, post-nut clarity, sometimes they make you overlook the red flags and shit we talk about, right? Every situation, every time you date a woman, big dog barking, it's not one size fit all. It's not going to be the perfect process. Because you can meet a woman with a bunch of red flags and fall for her. Vice versa, right? She can meet a man who's bad for her but have feelings. That changes the game. Hi, welcome to the show, Miller.
Hello. Thank you for having me up here on the panel with you tonight. You got something good going on as far as you extending your opinions and thoughts to your audience. They're gonna see it now and in the future, so that's cool.
Okay. Yeah, but it's like this, right? This is my thing with women, right? And this is why I'm a little bit tougher on you guys. I'm not saying men are perfect and that we're without fault, but this is what I'm a little tougher on you guys. The risk for a woman to get married is very low. Only thing she has at risk when she marries a man is her feelings, really. Now, I'm not saying that's not important, but what I'm saying is her benefits outweigh her risk. The rewards outweigh her risk. Because most likely, most married women do not pay the marriage. I'll say 98 to 99% of women do not pay mortgages that are married. You might got some that go half. And at worst case scenario, 50-50, right? Even if she go 50-50, even if she does just take that, she's still saving a whole bunch of money. She doesn't have to pay all the mortgage. And so she gets to put up half her check. That is still a great benefit. Then she got her in-house D, right? When she come home, she got him right there, or when he go, whatever, right? Then she got all her kids under one house. She had a roof over her head. She had a nice car. She may not have the Lamborghinis and the motherfucking double R, but that Toyota, the one she picked out, because she was either a Toyota, Honda, what's up, Why High? Whatever her, the budget is in, she got to pick out one of those, and she picks the one she likes. She gets to run the house pretty much, because men, we don't really like to, do the things in the house, right? We're more outside guys, right? We take care of the lawn, the roofing, all that stuff, right? We'll do it. Now, we will take out the trash. We'll do some things if we see that, okay, it's time to step up. But typically, we like to let the women manage the household as far as the organization skill of the house and, all the other stuff. But typically, a woman, when she's in a marriage, when she's married, her really only risk is her feelings. Because she doesn't invest. Women don't invest in men at a great financial rate. So she's most likely going to say, even in the dating, while she's dating this guy, before they get married, she's saving all her money because he's paying, he's paying for the dinners. And most likely these days, 2025, a lot of guys are paying for hairs and nails and other stuff she needs, right? So women, when they get married, they even benefit more because now, most likely, if she picked him, most likely if she set that ring, he already met everything pretty much. All the qualifications, being a provider, all the things she demanded or her expectations for her to take that ring. Say, I do, baby. And then she goes down the aisle and she puts on that white dress. He's the man. He's him. So why do they leave if the risk is only their feelings? If they're benefiting in such a great way where they don't have to worry that about, do I have a roof over my head? I got me a car. My life is in order. Why do they leave so much? $800,000 worth a year is an astronomical number.
Yeah, that's a big number.
That is
huge.
That is significant.
There's a lot of stories behind that number.
A lot of them. And I'm not saying, once again, let me preface this because I'm not saying us men are without blame, right? But typically, if a man marries you, right? He has way more at risk. He risking his half his 401k. He risking his kids getting taken away. He's risking paying. He's gonna have to pay a bill for the next 18 years plus. And child support don't let it get alimony. I know that's not a large graded rate, but still, don't let that get tagged on there. He's risking losing his girl. And here's the thing about how he might lose a girl. Outside influences. Her friends, family, social media, different things that
or his friends.
No.
Yeah.
No, because most men.
I got a story to tell you.
Yeah, I'm not saying okay.
It's not my story.
There are some outliers. I'm not saying there's not, but for the most part, Mel, and I'm gonna let you tell your story. For the most part, most men vacate their friends for their wife, like at a 98% clip. I know niggas used to be hanging the hood, all that. As soon as they got married, they cut everybody off. I have a best friend from high school. I actually take him out to dinner, him and his wife, and he told me, "Don't never call me again because I don't have time. I got time with my kids and my wife." Most men, there are some outliers. I'm not saying that Miller doesn't have a story that's not verifiable, that qualifies, but on a large general scale, most men shake their friends for their wife. That's not even the question. So, yeah, there are some outliers, but most men, they get rid of it. Look, they get rid of homies. Look, man, we going bowling night, nigga? Nah, man, I gotta be in, me and the wife. we gonna Netflix and we gonna da. Because at one point she's gonna make it an issue. Baby, you out with your friends an awful lot. And he's gonna be like, and then once the kids come in the picture, once all the things that concerning running that house, that man's going to weigh that cost. He's gonna say, man, my friends versus this woman who I invested in a lot of money and time. He's taking that wife most time, and he's gonna alleviate his friends. And then what happens? Most men build other married couple friendships where the wife usually forges these. Usually the women pick out a couple that they forge with, relationships with, and these are who we hang out with now. Usually the wives lead that. That's why when they do the sales pitch for like hotels and stuff like that, they tell you bring your wife because they know her. If she says it goes, they know this. If you go to, I don't know if you've been to those things where they're trying to sell you like certain hotels and things or whatever. The number one thing on this, bring your wife. So on a large scale, women, but this is the person I have for the women. Why are you guys leaving? And I'm not, like I said, why are you guys leaving when the benefit outweighs the risk or the mitigated problems? Even the little problems that go on, even if he's gained a little weight, even if he, maybe sex just fell off a little bit, at least you don't have to worry about him calling you a hoe and bragging to his friends, oh yeah, or trying to run a train or nothing. He's going to still be that husband for you. I'm just saying, and then y'all can have a conversation. The most time, and a woman come in there and say, baby, you be lacking in that bedroom, that nigga gonna find a way. That nigga gonna find a way. Because more than likely, most, I would say 98% of men who are married don't want their families broken up, and they don't want to lose the woman that they're totally emotionally and financially invested in. It's just something we don't sign up for. Now, I'm not saying we don't divorce. And most time if we do divorce, it's because her underperformance. Like she maybe, she gained a little weight, we got a side piece. You know, I ain't gonna lie. I mean, I'm just saying, like, because most wives underperform in marriages. I asked a girl on my show the other time, "Well, go run your husband's bathwater when you get off work." So as soon as you get off work, come in, you have the bathwater man. She said, "Ugh, why would I do that? Why would I do that for him?" I said, "Well, you can't do that. Go put on a Victoria's Secret and twerk for him when he get home from work. Keep a back rub." She said, "Why would I do that for him?" And I got a video. You know, I got a video that's going to clear a lot of this up. Welcome to the show, Zoom Zoom. Welcome to the show, Y High, at Y High. Make sure y'all hit the like button. You know, make sure y'all hit the like button. Like and subscribe. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe because Rufus is going to have some more, you know, we're going to have some more content for you. And, you know, we're going to get into this, right? We're going to mine this out. Like, this is what I'm looking at? No, I don't think this is what I'm looking at. But yeah, we have to find out why women are leaving. And why women are leaving men so much. Why are these women leaving at the rate they leave it at? Why so much? 800,000 divorces a year. That's just way too many. I would even give women credence if they were divorcing at 10%, 5%. But at motherfucking 800,000 a year, 80%, 75 to 80%. You know, it fluctuates. Sometimes it's 800,000 a year. Sometimes it's like 650,000 a year. No, it fluctuates. But last year was like 800,000. Why are they leaving so much if they're benefited at so great rate? Why is Aisha Curry complaining? Yeah. So let's go to this video. I got a video. Let me find this video. I got it done. Let me get this one. This is gonna kind of break some things down for us till Mela gets back. Okay, let's go.
Most women don't want a man with logic. They want a man who agrees with their feelings. They'll say, "Oh, I want a man." Most women don't want a man with logic. They want a man who agrees with their feelings. They'll say, "Oh, I want a man that understands me." Translation, I want a man who nods his head and says, "Yes, baby," even when I'm dead wrong. The second logic enters the chat, when you point out their contradictions or the flaws in their stories, now you're toxic. Now you're
misogynistic.
But
Yeah,
the
you're
reality
bashing.
is, most women aren't looking for logic. They're looking for validation. They don't want a leader. They want a mirror. That's why when they actually do meet a man who...
And this, they don't want a leader. They want a mirror. They don't want leaders. And quiet as kept. That's one of the many reasons they leave. Because after a while, a man may say, "Hey, I'm standing up for myself. I don't agree with this. I don't agree with that." And she like, "What? Oh, I'm out." And that's that, the divorce papers are slide across. So yeah, these women are speaking their truth. Believe them when they say that, gentlemen. Believe them. Believe them when they listen to them. Let's listen.
Who moves with logic, who doesn't bow down to their emotions. They say he's harsh, he's toxic. They call him everything but what he really is, which is
Exactly.
honest. Let's be
Exactly.
honest, ladies. If you only want a man who agrees with you, then what you really want is a yes man.
What's up, M3? How you doing, sir? Welcome to the show. Make sure you hit the like button. Hit the like button, y'all. We finna listen to these women expose themselves.
Not a partner.
AKA a simp. And you know what we say about simps?
Simp. Simp.
Some women can't understand logic when they don't agree. And it's not that they don't understand, they just don't like it.
Ooh, I look fine today. Let me post it for the world to see. Because what are you posting it for? To get that attention. It's as simple as that. There's no other reason to post. Now, I'm going to ask y'all this. If a dude tell y'all, you can post the same stuff you've been posting. Post whatever you want. But make your page private and delete all males off your page that's not family member. How would you feel about a dude saying that? Would you think he tripping or you like, okay, yeah, let's do it?
That's controlling.
So you would think he tripping?
Yes, that's controlling.
Trinity, you would think he tripping?
I would. I'm not gonna.
So are you-
Narcissistic.
Okay, they just said they posting for themselves. They doing it just because it look good. They just said it's not no unloyal aspect to this. But when we take males out of the equation, you the bad guy. But before you take them out of the equation, they just posting for themselves. It can't be for y'all sales, and it can't be just because you feel good. Because I'm still saying, babe, post it. Baby, do your thing. Post whatever you want to post, however many times you want to post it. Let's just take the men that might pose a threat to our relationship or trying to get in between what we got going. Let's take them out the picture. They keep doing
If she's posting her body online that belongs to her husband, she's in violation. If she's committed to a man in a long-term commitment and she's posting her body, right? She's in violation. But I agree. I think women post online to get the attention of men? I think they post online to shun other bitches. I think they post online to compete with other women. I think they want clout chasing. Not them. So yeah, do they want the attention from men? Not like we think they want it. They want the numbers. So if a guy likes their picture, right, or views their content, whatever it is that they're selling, which is their bodies or whatever, you know, they're trying to get monetized. They're trying to get money off that. So they're not necessarily posting to necessarily get that guy to pick them up and take them out to dinner. No, they're mostly posting for clout, right? Women chase clout. But crazy part about it, more women thirst trap their pictures than men. But should women be married women or women with in a long committed relationship with kids shouldn't be posting their bodies on Instagram for the sake of the balance of peace in the household. Just like men shouldn't be coming home with girls' phone numbers. Oh, look, baby, you posted, I got numbers. Or men shouldn't be coming up. Listen, women get mad when dudes like other women's pictures. So if you don't like your man liking other women's pictures, then why are you letting other men like your picture? That's pure hypocrisy. But these are the things that destroy marriages, and largely because the women, they don't want to stay within the framework of a successful household. They want to follow after their passion, their dreams. And that means the man has to settle if she feels she needs BBLs, tits, whatever it is to post on her Instagram, or whatever it is she thinks she needs to be great. She gonna get him. She gonna, you know, she gonna do what she gotta do, regardless of his opinion. And to the old girl point, do women like logical men? No. They want a yes man. They want a mirror. And this is why I'm anti-marriage. Because if you can't be, as a man, who you are, then you are in a miserable and unhealthy situation. If you can't stand up and be assertive, direct, raise your voice a little bit, you don't have to yell, but speak with some authority. If you can't do that, if you can't bark or order out, you're in an unhealthy situation. Because here's the part about the risk, right? For the men, you can do all that shit and take a step back and cater to her emotions, cater to her needs, and she's still leaving. She's still doing things that are very detrimental to the running of the house. The risk for men to get married is very high. Like everything is against you. You have everything working against you. I don't care how much money you got. I don't care how good you look. I don't care what kind of mouthpiece you got. When you marry or get with these women, the risk for you to get divorced is extremely high. It's like 96% chance that you're going to get divorced. And I'm not trying to preach a defeatist mindset or telling men they need to be scared. What I am saying is to the men, we have to be wise. We have to look out for ourselves as well. You just, nigga, don't keep walking in the same trap, nigga, over and over again that these women keep setting for you. It's called emotional entrapment, nigga. You become a slave to her emotions. If you marry her, you will become, and you want that, if you want that marriage to last for a good amount of time, you will have to become a slave to her emotions, which is emotional entrapment. You have to take a back seat and let them things run the show, or she's going to go. And this is why I don't think marriage is ideal. Because not only do you have the risk is so high because you're dealing with an emotional creature who, once again, relies heavy on the emotions. You got the courts that are lingering, looking from the onset to come in and regulate some shit because they want money too. So child support, when you get child support, it ain't just the money getting women. The courts are getting money too. They get percentages. Lawyers are making money. It's an easy money grab. And the man is 99% of cases is the victim of getting their money taken. No, you don't, Zoomer. You know I'm Zoomer crazy. Emotional entrapment is, man, that Zoom. You do not want to get women, you do not want to get emotionally trapped with a woman. It's too risky. Because once again, we understand that emotions are fleeting. They're very fleeting. And they're very contradictory, they're very hypocritical, and they're very illogical. Emotions don't want to solve. They want retribution. They want action. They want manipulation. Emotions don't use reasoning. and logic. Zuma, you marry one of these women and you go against her emotions, you guys are going to fight for a very long time. And then she would bring it up every chance she get for the next 10 years until she leaves you or until you leave her. One thing about it, we know women are petty. I love you guys, but y'all petty. They'll bring up every single thing you did wrong, nigga. 30 years later, nigga, you remember? Like Michael Jackson, do you remember the time? Do you remember the time?
They're not even gonna hear him because they're gonna say he's sassy. He's sassy. Why you need me to remove all the men? You're insecure. Yeah.
What you doing, but let's take them out the picture. Remove the risk. Now I'm tripping. So don't they click in y'all head that maybe I'm not just doing it just for me, or maybe I'm not just doing it just because I feel good. Can we agree to that now?
I still can't.
We gotta.
They'll swear up and down. They want a strong man. They want a leader. They want a logical man. But when that logic contradicts with their feelings, or until that logic exposes that they're wrong, then suddenly you're negative, you're toxic, you just don't get it. No.
She's chopping the truth. Once that logic does not agree with her emotions, she's going to black out. This is the risk you run. This is the risk versus reward. The only reward men are getting from marriage, let's talk about it. The only reward that men are getting from marriage is coochie and kids. And that's not the kids ain't a guarantee she take them and turn them against your ass. That's not a guarantee either. Coochie, and then that can be taken away. So the only reward he can get, really, think about it. Only reward you're getting from a marriage, gentlemen, is she get to wear your last name until she divorce you. Think about it. But the women's risk, minimal. Her risk is minimal, if any. Because if she married you for your money and not her feelings, sometimes women will marry for money. Sometimes women will marry for a position of power. Right? You really fucked. At least with emotions, you got a chance if you can acquiesce, right? But if she marry you for your money, she's gonna leave you even sooner. Some women marry for money. Some women marry just because you're doing good, nigga. She'll marry you because she's like, oh, I don't have to work. Some women will do that. It's called using. They will use you. We use each other. We both use each other. So typically, to reward for the women, the man is what? If the marriage goes wrong, it's your fault. If the judge says who's going to get the kids, she's most likely going to get the kids. I mean, she has to be really extremely fucked up. Drug user. It's just a bad deal. It's just a bad deal. In retrospective and in reality.
We get it. You just don't like to be called out.
Yeah, 100%. Exactly. And then, they will listen to that clip and say, and focus on the point of, well, why would he want me to remove all the men that's not family members? Like, even though that's not the point, he was just using it as an example. They focus on irrelevant points in these conversations just to distract from the point, because the point of that conversation is women don't want logical men. They really don't want masculine men. They do want the simps. They want somebody that they can control. Like, it's just, and this is why they raise their sons how they do.
So I was watching a live one of the influencers that I really like. She is actually part of the reason why that I talk the way that I do, because I started following her channel and I love the topics that she touches on. Her name is Dee Woods. She's also a married woman. Ladies, if you're looking for decent advice and who's going to tell the truth, Dee Woods is that girl. Anyway, I just caught her live and she was, pretty much saying how women these days don't want to build with a man. They'll create their own, but they don't want to have to help a man do anything. And I find that interesting because that is very true. But y'all don't want to, certain women don't want to build with a man, but they want to take from a man. Listen to how that sounds. Y'all don't want to build with them, but you want to take from them. If that ain't the most selfish, entitled mess that y'all are currently living by, is madness. Men are human beings. Women are human beings. We need each other for a reason, okay? And helping your man build a legacy not only benefits you, but your children, right? So why wouldn't you want to be getting your hands dirty along with that man? Help that man build so that you both can take, right? Because it's something that y'all both put in the pot. It was the same time, effort, energy, sometimes finances. What is wrong with helping a man build? Because him building is also helping you, right? Building together creates a stable foundation for the both of you in a relationship. Why do y'all want men to do all the hard work? If you want men to do all of the hard work and you don't feel like you have to do,
I got a special guest coming up. Whoa, surprise, surprise. Let me give him the proper intro. Let him give him the proper intro. Welcome to the show, M3 from Knowledge and Relationships, a proud YouTube specialist. Been on these streets about 3 years, I'm thinking. A little bit, 3 years change. You muted, M3. Is that you mute? Is that, no, you're not muted like that. Might be your volume. Let me see if I can. Oh no. I can't hear you, M3. I can't hear you. So it could be. There you go. There it is.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, man. It looks like it's so reliant on my my little microphone or whatever. Well, not my microphone, but my phone or whatever. So
Okay.
We'll go over that first for time being, so I'll figure this out.
Okay. So how you doing, sir? So welcome welcome to the show, sir. As you see the title, Risk versus Reward, Women Are Guilty of Emotional Trapping.
I hear you.
And this is a new word. Rufus made this up. This is officially my word. I made the two words. Well, I didn't make the words up, but the combination has never been said before here on YouTube.
So you call it entrapment?
Yeah, because that's what they do. They entrap you into their emotion. So a woman, they get with you, right? They do all the things that make you happy in the beginning. They pretend like, they're just going to be these positive people, but they understand that they're emotional wrecks. But they're not going to tell you that up to the beginning. Ain't no woman finna come up in front and tell you in the beginning, you know what? I'm emotional roller coaster. I have anger management issues. I have insecurity issues. I hate everybody, whatever, right? Today I'm this way. I'm bipolar. Women ain't going to put that on the table and give men an option to back away or to reconsider. They're going to take that ring. And let me say this. They can really like you, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they know the secret about them that you don't know, that we don't know. They know when you give them that ring, you take that ring, y'all go over the threshold, y'all get to that place, and then guess what? Bam! Next thing you know, it's too late, right? You're entrapped. Because how did she trap you? Her time, through time, you invested in her. That's why women don't like to pay for nothing, because they figure as long as you're paying, the less likely you'll leave, or the most likely that the longer you're together, the most likely you're going to finish it out. So then after after this, say 5 years, let's say most people before they get married, 5 years, right? We'll say that's pretty standard reprimandable. But most of them don't live together, right? They're having little problems, ups and downs, but they try to stick with it, and then they get married. But here's where I think the emotional entrapment comes in, because the women are basically accepting the beneficiary of the man, which pretty much entraps them into their emotional roller coaster. So when you catch feelings for her, once you see that you really like her, then next thing you know, you're on a roller coaster. And now that's where the happy wife, happy life is coming from. Because now you're like, whoa, right? And she pretty much got you. She got you in her world. And now for their relationship or this marriage to sustain and last a good amount of time, which most men want, right? They don't want their kids everywhere. She knows this. They don't want the woman, they don't want to lose their woman. So now all these emotions come out, all this inconsistencies of these things that are going on. And this is where the happy wife, happy life come in. This is what this video is talking about. It's breaking down that women don't want logical men. So the moment the man tries to be logical and it doesn't go with her emotions, he's no good. He's no good for her no more. So this is where the emotional trap comes in, because you're dutiful, right? Once you ring on the finger, you pretty much gonna stay. I mean, it's got to be some real extreme, right, for you just to get up. I'm talking about, got to be a long-standing problematic relationship. You really justify for a divorce for most men, right?
Right.
And women are leaving at a high rate because why? Men, happy wife, happy life. Sometimes, a lot of times, men got to stand up for this. Say, look, they complain and say, hey, I don't like this, or I don't like you disrespecting me, or whatever it is, right? Mm-hmm. And once you go against that emotional, stance that she put you through, you guys are doomed. You're doomed. Because women invest and women are loyal to their emotions and the way they feel over everything.
Yeah, like that's usually the unfortunate part, because we're living in a society now, man, that a lot of people don't really want to build. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like men don't want to build because now we're too afraid of of a bad investment return, because women don't want to put the work in, because they feel like, well, think about it like this. When you're growing up, and let's just say you're an average chick. I'm not even gonna say you're below average, but you're average enough that you have a nice body so people want to smash. But you might have a duck-looking face. Now, all the men who smashed you prior to that are not gonna really tell you the truth. You know what I mean? They're gonna be ruthless with it, no pun intended. And they're gonna give you some sweet little lies or whatever. Right. They're gonna tell you a lot of men's gonna tell you how beautiful you are.
Yes.
As long as they can get to at least first base.
Yeah.
The whole goal basically is to get to the home run. Now those men, however, right, which most, simps or some people will call them bad men or whatever. They're not bad men. They're just men that actually know their role. They know how to play the game. They know that it's not forever. It's just their turn. And when your turn is over, you got to go ahead and move on to the next. But in the meantime, you have men who are oblivious, to female nature, and most of them could probably have been raised by, their moms, tell them how to treat a woman nice and be all respectful and stuff. But a lot of these women don't really, they say they like that, but they really, through action, they don't really appreciate it.
Right.
And men are starting to kind of see that, and they're like, it's always been like an unspoken thing because we haven't really figured it out at that point until we started to dab into the social media era. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it wasn't until other men, right, who actually have the wisdom and the game that probably was living like 300 miles away. At that time, game wasn't always easily accessible. You had to really like kind of put your foot out there and actually talk to one of the OGs around your block in hopes that they have enough games to kind of teach you about women.
Yeah.
But now, game is more universal thanks to the internet and social media.
Right.
You could get game from Game God Goldie, a guy who lived in Oakland, moved to Miami, and actually could still branch out and reach out to you right directly through Instagram. Like things that you wanted to know before, and maybe you're a late bloomer, and now you're getting all this knowledge in, which is creating some type of like red pill rage at first. But once you get that understanding of female nature and just the nature of other human beings, then it's like you learn how to take things personally. You learn how to take people seriously. The only thing that you have the power is like yourself, your own mental.
Okay, so I think afraid is the wrong word. I think afraid is not the right word you need to look for in your context. Everything else I thought was pretty decent, right? But afraid, I think the better word is there's nothing wrong with becoming wiser.
Yeah.
And making more practical, more practical decisions to better put yourself in a position.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason why I can't assess and evaluate and come up with a conclusion that best fits me. When I'm the one footing the bills, I'm the one putting up all the money. I'm the one. I'm not saying that money's everything, but damn it, it shows a lot. Whether it's a little or a lot, it still doesn't grow on trees, right? It's still very difficult to, and I just think that in retrospective, us men have to stop saying, "Oh, well, men are afraid to take." Well, no, we ain't afraid. We are smarter. We're making better assessments because now we have, like you said, we have more information, and not this information is being not only verified but also clarified by the women themselves. And we're gonna listen to this woman right here. I want you to listen to this. Watch.
Most women don't want a man with logic. They want a man who agrees with their feelings. They'll say, "Oh, I want a man that understands me." Translation: I want a man who nods his head and says, "Yes, baby," even when I'm dead wrong. The second logic enters the chat, when you point out their contradictions or the flaws in their stories, now you're toxic. Now you're
misogynistic.
But
Yeah,
the
you're
reality
bashing.
is, most women aren't looking for logic. They're looking for validation. They don't want a leader. They want a mirror. That's why when they actually do meet a man who moves with logic, who doesn't bow down to their emotions, they say he's harsh, he's toxic. They call him everything but what he really is.
Exactly.
Honest.
Exactly.
Let's be honest, ladies. If you only want a man who agrees with you, then what you really want is a yes man, not a partner.
AKA a simp. And you know what we say about simps?
Simp. Simp. Some women can't understand logic when they don't agree. And it's not that they don't understand, they just don't like it.
Oh, I look fine today. Let me post it for the world to see.
So we see here, right, that the women are speaking. They got a voice, and us men, we just want to fucking fight it, right? We want to. Oh well, we got to be better at this. We need to pick better, not choose better. Listen, in my estimated opinion, this is 100% of women. I think 100% of women lead with their emotions, and their emotions are very important to them and how they feel. That's, to me, that is universally integrated in all women. That's why lesbian relationships are the most violent, because the girl who's trying to pretend to be a man and trying to take on the burden of being a man to try to make the relationship balance fails. Because at the end of the day, she's a woman, right? She still, or that by nature, she still wants the same thing the girl she's with wants. And this is why they end up bumping heads. A lot of them, lesbians go out and get them, they want a little bit of masculinity. They want the masculine sexual part of it. They don't want the psychological impact of a logical. So what lesbian women are doing is they're getting men to service their coochie so they can feel, get the right stress in their vagina, so they can get their pleasurable experience, the physical experience of the man. And after he's done with that, right, she goes back to her woman who agrees with her emotional instability. You know what I'm saying? So this is how these lesbians are moving out here, because I'm not here to tell you. I got 3 of them on the tail. I got 3 of them on the tail. I'm not telling them, I'm just saying, and that's how our relationship is, right? And we talk to them, and I let her know, okay, so you only want me because your girl don't know how to work them hips, right? She don't know how to, the dildo, she doesn't know how to, you know what I mean? She doesn't know how to, can't compete with a man. So she comes to me to feel that, to fulfill that part of the physical part.
Mm-hmm.
But she goes back to her woman. Why? Because women they're going to emotionally agree with each other. They're not logical. So both when their emotions are tripping out, they're going to work. That's what they want.
And even though the logical thing is for them to, I don't mean to cut you off, but I'll say, even the most logical thing is that, look, you might as well just get yourself a man, or have that dedicated side dude if you're really into women. But the thing is, it's like they still look for that type of connection, but they don't really understand, what's simple that's out there. It's like you're making things so complicated for your life. But I digress,
Yeah, but we see here that women don't like logic. They don't like it. But we as men, we'll take the blame and blame other men for you and a good leader. You supposed to have been better. But one thing about emotions, they are the gray area of life. See, MP, to me, you seem like a pretty level dude. You don't go super high or super low very often. You're pretty much down the middle. But if somebody triggers your anger, emotional anger, now you see the side down. M3, damn, right? You know what I'm saying? Now, whoa, I know M3. Yeah, because you might have did something to trigger that. Now all his civilities, all the logical things are out the window. Now what you want to do, fool? Or whatever it may be, right? Whatever it is that you're, depending on how the degree of it, right? If it's super, super disrespectful, super, in your mind unforgivable, it can be bad for everybody, right? That's where emotional triggers bring. They bring this is why people should always be respectful. That's why you don't go around picking fights with people, right? And doing disrespecting people, because you could trigger an emotion that could be all bad for you, because emotions aren't as forgiving as logic and reasoning.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I mean, to be honest with you, like, if I was ever in a situation where things get really confrontational, I just know who I am. And I know I don't really have a filter. And then I know that if pushed too far, and then I have to put myself in a situation where I try to defend myself, like, I could lay down the hands, but I'd rather not to, because for the sake of my career and life choices.
Right. But if it's something that being worthy of losing all that, all bets are off. Right. And it has to be a pretty extreme situation. right? We hope.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know what I mean? But I'm saying that's and you, like you said, you know yourself. And that's why at work, you practice staying away from things that could trigger you, right? If the guy talks a little too slick, you might have to move away from conversating with him because you may not want him to, you know what I mean? The guy joke too much or somebody who, so, you know, we basically try to, as men, through reason and logic, we move away from those things that can trigger our emotions. Where women, it's opposite of us. You dig what I'm saying? They lean into things that trigger their emotions. You know what I'm saying? And the crazy part about it, that emotions be triggered are detrimental to the running of wherever they. This is why the divorce rate. This is why they divorcing at 800,000 a year, 600,000 a year, because they lean into their emotions because their emotions matter a great deal to them. And also, when you're dealing in an emotional state, you easily influence from outside parties, such as social media, such as friend group, girl groups. This is why men don't want our girls to go for girl trips, right? We don't want our girls to do girl trips out. We really don't want it. We of course, if she really pushed it, all right. We really don't want it. We really just like her to stay away from that part because you don't want a bunch of emotional women or weak women who can be subject to their emotions and their feelings running around with each other because they don't want that. We know women don't hold each other accountable. And typically, right, it can be like what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. That's the sentiment for women, right? That sentiment is for them. So this is why men try, when they marry a girl or get with a girl, they try to cover her from, and a lot of people don't understand protection, right? Protection ain't just from burglars. You know what I mean? You're also protecting her from herself. Protecting her from her, you know, because we know as men, we see clearly. You know what I'm saying? Like, whoa, when she's in her emotional state, she's not the most reasonable person. So we try, that's the part of our protection. Hey, baby, we're here to protect you from yourself. But women are refusing that protection because they love it. They love being in their emotions. So we're going to finish listening to this and see how this goes. This is a very breakdown of the instability of women.
Because what are you posting it for? To get that attention. It's as simple as that. There's no other reason to post. Now, I'm going to ask y'all this. If a dude tell y'all, you can post the same stuff you've been posting. Post whatever you want. But make your page private and delete all males off your page that's not family member. How would you feel about a dude saying that? Would you think he tripping or you like, okay, yeah, let's do it?
That's controlling.
So you would think he tripping?
Yes, that's controlling.
Trinity, you would think he tripping?
I would. I'm not gonna.
So are you-
Narcissistic.
Okay, they just said they posting for themselves. They doing it just because it look good. They just said it's not no unloyal aspect to this. But when we take males out of the equation, you the bad guy. But before you take them out of the equation, they just posting for themselves. It can't be for y'all sales, and it can't be just because you feel good. Because I'm still saying, babe, post it. Baby, do your thing. Post whatever you want to post, however many times you want to post it. Let's just take the men that might pose a threat to our relationship or trying to get in between what we got going. Let's take them out the picture. They keep doing
No, they're not even gonna hear him because they're gonna say he's sassy. He's sassy. Why you need me to remove all the men? You're insecure. Yeah.
Keep doing, but let's take them out the picture. Remove the risk. Now I'm tripping. So don't they click in y'all head that maybe I'm not just doing it just for me, or maybe I'm not just doing it just because I feel good. Can we agree to that now?
I still can't.
We gotta go.
They'll swear up and down. They want a strong man. They want a leader. They want a logical man. But when that logic contradicts with their feelings, or until that logic exposes that they're wrong, then suddenly you're negative, you're toxic, you just don't get it. No, we get it. You just don't like to be called out.
Yeah, 100%, exactly. And then, they will listen to that clip and say, and focus on the point of, well, why would...
And once again, right, they don't want to be called out. When that logic exposes who they are, what wrongs they have. Oh, and this is why the divorces rate is where it's at. This is why the relationships and monogamy is such a failure. Because if a man can't properly protect, if he can't properly correct, he can't properly protect. But she's not gonna let him protect her emotions. She loves her emotions. This is who she is.
Right.
So now this is why I am anti-marriage, right? This is why I stand on this premise, because it's just no way you can quantify this. There's no way you really, for men, it is a very high risk to get married. It's a very high risk. The chances of making it to the finish line, especially in 2025, because women have access to resources, because women are more empowered to stand on their feelings and their self-love and all these ideologies of independence, they are highly and more likely your marriage has a 98% chance to fail in 2025. Just on the strength of all the ideologies out here of the women empowerment movement. It's just too strong. And so when you marry women, all these things are pulling. They're going to be pulling at your girl, even though you may not see it, right? She may come and talk to you every day. Y'all might spend time to laugh and talk. But when you're not around her, right, they got all these things attacking her. That's why I don't know if you ever been to I don't know if you ever been to an event like, let's say they're trying to sell you something like a timeshare or a hotel or something like some. You know what they tell you? Bring that wife, right? Because they know they can get into her emotions, get her in her emotions to make that emotional call. That sale's going to happen. It's like almost a 99% success rate. You know that? Because because they know women they make emotional decisions.
No. You're absolutely like on point on that one. You know.
Yeah.
And again, man, the way how I look at it, it's like you said something like that was spot on, man, earlier. We gotta kind of stop like trying to like focus like on what they need and what they want. Meaning like basically we gotta stop like putting ourselves like putting ourselves down, start blaming other men because of things that they want that's night and day. Something that's like what they want that's night and day, like it's not guaranteed that that they're gonna want that for the long haul. And I think once you kind of understand that, it's like, okay, cool. Now you know that, hey, you as a man, right? You just gotta operate accordingly. Yeah, we take the blame for like a lot of stuff because logically we know that. Look, man, like everything that usually that most of them like they act out of is based off emotion. Look, one moment they could be all lovey dovey, they could fall in love with you, they could love all the things that you make them feel, and then the next moment, like they got an attitude. It's like they woke up on the wrong side of bed this morning. They don't want to be around you. So those are things that you got to consider and think about.
Yes, but this is why I am against marriage, right? If you're already married, whatever. I mean, hope you good luck, right? But I just don't think it's optimal. It's just not optimal, especially with the laws, the way they're governed. That the courts value the system, they value the woman more than they value the man. And, they heavily lean into her, to take away from the man. Not only that, the courts are taking money for themselves. So if a man is a target when it comes to that, the potential. And like I said, afraid isn't the word. It's wisdom. It's learning to understand. It's the definition of insanity, right? Trying the same shit, trying to do the same thing over and over again with expecting a different results. And it's enough information to understand that men are losing in a great deal with women because women are rejecting us by leaving us, divorcing us, and on top of that, coming on these platforms and dog walking us and talking shit about us. Queen Maker, Cynthia G, etc. A whole lot more. Right? Those are off the top of my head. And
Yeah.
these are not in the best interest of men. So in our best interest, right? In the interest of livelihood of humanity that we want to have for our stability mentally, right? It's best to move in a way where we can benefit and mitigate risk. We have to mitigate risk. Listen, and this is a scary fact. Women, their risk is minimal going into a marriage, right? Only thing they really have to worry about their feelings. That's really it. Because, like I said, they don't pay for really much. I'm not saying that even if they go 50-50, they're saving a great deal of money doing that. You taking that half of that bill is a lot of money they're saving, right? The only thing they really got to worry about when they get with a man, typically, if you put a ring on it and all that stuff, are they together for long, is their feelings. That maybe he may hurt them, right? Other than that, the risk of finances is not there. What? Average women spend what in 10 years? Maybe $4,000, $5,000 on an air. That's. I think I'm being generous, right? I don't even think it ain't that much, but just for the sake of argument. Then, right? Most men are going to pay the mortgage. Most men are going to do the yard work. We're not going to ask y'all to go out there to cut the grass. We're not going to go out to do, no. Yeah, we're not really big on housework, but we will step up if there is, we see a situation where we can just get it done and get it out the way. But she is able to be at liberty to move in. She wants to be an entrepreneur. She wants to be, she wants to do karaoke, whatever, right? We let women live in their truths in that form. So they are beneficiaries with very low investment in these relationships, in these marriages. So for them to leave is astronomical. It's beyond. Why are they leaving when their risk is very low? Why are they walking away?
Yeah, I think, and I gotta go like right after this, rather than make a statement, but I think the biggest problem, you just said it right. This is the answer. We make it acceptable for them to output low investment. We don't require them to make much of an investment for us. And a lot of times, like and I think we also shame ourselves, which that's also detrimental. Hold on for a second.
Yeah.
How do I turn this? Hold on. Wait, my bad. Anyways, I'm about to answer this phone call in a minute. I don't even know how to turn these notifications off, man, on my computer. But anyway, the point is, what I was trying to make was that, like, we make it acceptable for them to give us a low investment. But at the same time, we go ahead and we try to do whatever we can to meet their expectations and requirements for us. And their expectations and standards for us is exceptionally higher, but we accept it until we start putting out our prerequisites for them and hold them to the fire for that. It's going to be a cycle. And here's the thing: realistically, we know that's not going to really happen for the majority. You have to do that for your own. You know what I mean? So even if like you're gonna pass up on like some good baddies or whatever, if you go whole frame and you let them know that, look, man, these are my requirements, these are my expectations. Don't violate them. Man, I need you to do this. I need you to do that. You gotta show them like, man, what can you offer beyond sex? You can show them if you could challenge them on that part. That's when you know for sure. And again, maybe this for people for midterm and long term. Short term, it probably won't even really matter. because the moment you hit that, then you're good. But for people who want to be in these long term relationships, these are things that you gotta really think of. Um, I gotta go ahead and bounce out, bro, because I
All
gotta
right.
answer the call.
Thank you for
But
coming in, please. From Knowledge and Relationship, subscribe to Knowledge and Relationship channel. M3 does have a channel that he does every Tuesday, Talks to Tuesday, and I think Sunday, right?
sometimes it'll be on the weekends, depends though. But
Okay.
definitely like talk to Tuesdays, and then every other Tuesday, and then we switch back and forth to our regular segments. We talk about community building, and we talk about talking shit. So yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for coming. Like
Um,
and subscribe to the Knowledge and Relationship when he's on. And until next time. But
Likewise.
all right. So yeah, to respond to what M3 said is we have to understand, right? There is a thin line between love and hate. Either you love them or you hate them. There is no in between. And when you don't want to go above and beyond for the person you love, you are or you should be ashamed of yourself. You should be really reevaluating what you're here for or what you're there for. Because love ain't easy. And if women want all these expectations that they want from men, all the greater things in life, and they don't want to do the stuff that's for free, which is respect, loyalty, then we have to be co-parents. So I'm gonna get a video. We got another video. Go back to the video.
He want me to remove all the men that's not family members. Like there's, even though that's not the point, he was just using it as an example. They focus on irrelevant points in these conversation just to distract from the point, because the point of that conversation is women don't want logical men. They really don't want masculine men. They do want the simps. They want somebody that they can control. Like it's just, and this is why they raise their sons how they do.
So I was watching a live. One of the influencers that I really like, she is actually part of the reason why that I talk the way that I do, because I started following her channel and I love the topics that she touches on. Her name is Dee Woods. She's also a married woman. Ladies, if you're looking for decent advice and who's going to tell the truth, Dee Woods is that girl. Anyway, I just caught her live, and she was, pretty much saying how women these days don't want to build with a man. They'll create their own, but they don't want to have to help a man do anything. And I find that interesting because that is very true. But y'all don't want to, certain women don't want to build with a man, but they want to take from a man. Listen to how that sounds. Y'all don't want to build with them, but you want to take from them. If that ain't the most selfish, entitled mess that y'all are currently living by, is madness. Men are human beings. Women are human beings. We need each other for a reason, okay? And helping your man build a legacy not only benefits you, but your children, right? So why wouldn't you want to be getting your hands dirty along with that man? Help that man build so that you both can take, right? Because it's something that y'all both put in the pot. It was the same time, effort, energy, sometimes finances. What is wrong with helping a man build? Because him building is also helping you, right? Building together creates a stable foundation for the both of you in a relationship. Why do y'all want men to do all the hard work? If you want men to do all of the hard work and you don't feel like you have to build anything, you're not a partner. You're not a wife, okay? all you're going to do is be a leech or a grown-ass child. Okay, you want to be taken care of like a grown-ass child, but respected like an adult. No. You got to put action behind it. You can't sit here and just take from men. Okay, they deserve better. They deserve better, and they're worth more than their resources. So y'all not willing to build, but you damn sure willing to take.
You know why most women not gonna hear this? It's because they don't believe men deserve better. A lot of them come with some kind of pain and some hurt, and the trauma that they come with, like it goes deeper than presenting a logical point to them. They need to go sit on a therapist couch and acknowledge and identify wherever that trauma came from, because some of them, it's so deep that even if you say, okay, you're in a household,
It ain't got nothing to do with traumas. They just evil. Women are just plain evil. We always want to make excuses for women. Talking about, oh, they got trauma. They've been through things. No. They're selfish motherfuckers. Okay, boo. We just do you. But don't sit here and try to justify it and say, oh, well, there's trauma. This is why they know. They do it because they don't want to help men build, because they're selfish. They want to take for themselves. You know, and that's what they want to do. And that's what they will continue to do. Because too many men, we shame each other. We fight each other. We don't get along. A lot of us men, we're always constantly bagging on each other. And that's just a fact, cold hard fact. So let's go to another video. I got another video. Let's go to Anton Daniels. Right? I got another video for all y'all. Special treat.
$150 people, that's a lot of people.
But when you used to doing 5,000,
that's his form of income. Like if that's your only form of income, you can't just be like, I gotta quit. I gotta quit. Like I guess you could quit and find some other shit, but
right. I'm just giving credit for the fact that he is
staying with the job. Staying with the job is crazy.
Staying with the job.
not quitting your job is crazy.
I guess what's interesting is that I used to wonder when when it all was working and Anton was still over there, I used to wonder how he would account for Anton being more of the voice and the personality, and he's kind of not behind the scenes because he's up there.
He was always just a moderator.
I know, but the fact that there's so much that gives a lot more.
Okay. I need to go a little bit more.
That's why I'm like, does it make a difference if he comes in making that clear and it's not like that, and then we're already pacing, we're together, and now you tell me that this is the kind of guy you are?
You don't know, but I mean, do he gotta tell you?
Let's say she doesn't. Let's say she doesn't know. I
just don't believe that, Carrie. I don't believe that a woman.
He might have been listening to these panels for a long enough time. And like, you know what?
Even with that being said, it's always any. It's just always any.
Mm-hmm.
Like some dudes is upfront about it.
Like in the beginning.
They'll tell you just straight up. Look, I'm going to always have women around me, even in an exclusive situation. Right. I'm not necessarily going to give up the women that I keep around me.
Okay, so Slimmy, so a guy does that, right? And they do that up front. Is there a difference in a guy who does that up front honest, this is what it is, versus a guy who does not do that up front, gets in the relationship for a year, and then comes and says that? Is there a difference?
Yeah, it is to a degree, but at the same time,
It's
were
like
there
a
any
what's understood doesn't need
were
to be
there
explained type of thing.
any clues? Like, did he say anything to you that was just like, yo, I ain't really into the exclusive thing?
What if he
Well, I'm
didn't?
not.
Okay, let me.
I don't think there's a guy that would do that won't say it in some type of way.
All right, so let me reframe it. I'm gonna do it to the woman's perspective.
I'm not looking for blame. I'm having fun with a conversation, Tell G.
Yeah, we just kidding. Let's look at it from a woman's perspective, right? You don't know the type of chick that you with. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't know.
You know who accepted and who ain't.
Yeah, like you gotta know.
Yeah. Because you gonna know, like, if you had a conversation right away, you're gonna know the type of woman she is.
Right.
She gonna be like, "What you talking about?"
And
one of my favorite podcasters says it. You don't know, but you know.
Joy Taylor?
You gotta know.
Candace.
I mean,
or there might be people serious. Okay, so you guys don't think that somebody, excuse me, somebody could.
I just don't think men and women make good roommates. They don't. Once again, the risk versus the reward. You know, it's not worth it. It just, bottom line is, men and women ultimately don't get along. There's a very big problem with men and women able to maintain a healthy space for children and both of them to exist in. Because for some reason, it seems like toxicity is normal. It's abnormal now. It seems like toxicity rules the house. Because if they're arguing, then it's silent treatment. It's inclusiveness, withdrawal. You know, we try to go to bed at night and get a hug. You don't want to hug each other. Don't touch me. It's just a lot of discontent people that are married. And once again, right, it is just difficult, especially when emotions are running thick, to try to maintain a civil household. I understand that moving in with each other is optimal financially wise. But if you really think about it, most people leave each other. Most people are not happy with each other. And the risk for men in these cases are very high. And the risk for women are very low. The reward for men is pennies on the dollar. The reward for women is she gets to bring everything she came with, she leaves with, plus she gets whatever extra else was built in there or some sort of access. You know, this is what happens when you marry. But this emotional entrapment is a very deep, demonic situation. Women are guilty of this, to emotionally entrap men into their world. Because a woman ain't gonna just meet you in 2 years and say, "Oh yeah, I'm fucking a psychopath," or I'm up and down. I don't know what I want. Sometimes I know what I want. So I can respect the transparency of women these days compared to the women of yesterday. I just think men and women can deal with each other in co-parenting roles. I think men and women are good together with limited time together. I just don't think men and women function together spending time every motherfucking day. It just doesn't work. The definition of insanity, trying the same shit over and over again, expecting a different result. We keep trying monogamy over and over again and expect a different result when the results are the same. And this is where we have to kind of gather ourselves and say, you know what? Maybe we are better off just when we're together, have a good time, women, and then go on separate ways after we're done. All this trying to go to the next level, get married, and move in together, and have all these kids and share the same roof is a total failure at this point. Because women won't stay. Women are not staying in these relationships. They're not staying. I'm sorry. They're not staying. I wish I could have good news for you. Hey, they're staying. No, they're not. Because, once again, it's just very difficult to try to emotionally regulate somebody. It's just almost impossible. It's impossible, to be frank. No man can emotionally regulate a woman. Neither can a woman emotionally regulate a man. But because men, we don't typically deal in our emotions for the overall standpoint. Now, there are some homies more emotional than others, right? I'm not going to say men don't get emotional. I'm not saying that we don't. And some of us are more emotional than the others. But for the overarching of men, we deal with reason and logic at between 60-65% capacity. And for the leaders, at 80% capacity, right? The most emotional man, he's 60% into his logic. He still got 60% logic, 40% emotional. And that's very extreme for a man. When women, when they're emotional, they're at 96-97%. And logical, 2-3%. When it comes to, leaning into what's best for them.
So as a grown adult, to me, that's common sense, right? To us, it's supposed to be given. You shouldn't even have to be having these kind of conversations. These are elementary kind of conversation. You're in a house as a grown adult, you're going to have to contribute. Whether you're contributing financially, whether you're taking care of the household, helping raise the kids, or whatever, his kids, helping raise his kids, the kids that y'all have together, not your kid that you come. Whatever you're doing, you're gonna have to contribute. But they don't see it like that, because they're like, okay, a man is supposed to pay 100% of the bill, but then at the same time, a man is supposed to help them with the chores and the household duties. It makes no sense to us, but to them, because their trauma and their pain is so deep, their narcissism is so deep, they don't see anything wrong with it. So it's more than just having these conversations with them. That is why no matter how you talk, and you will sit down and say, wait, but what I say makes sense though. It's clear as day. They're not seeing it.
Stop it. Get some help.
As a woman, you should never ever help a man build, and here's why. Stop letting people glorify the struggle story where a woman sacrifices her soul, her mind, her health to help a man become. Because too often, once that man becomes what he's trying to be, or once he goes where he's trying to go, that woman gets left behind.
And this is the trauma that I was talking about. This is a woman who needs to sit on a therapist couch. Because why are you focusing on the worst case scenario? A lot of times this is not even their lived reality. It's what they see from these Tyler Perry movies. This is why a logical conversation won't ever they will never ever see a logical point because they're so stuck in their feelings, they're stuck in their trauma, so you can never present a logical conversation to them. But let us listen.
You're not his mother. You're not his therapist. You're not this builder. You're a queen. So don't step down just to help someone rise who was never planning to lift you. Because the truth of the matter is this: his ego can't handle your help. Here's the truth: a lot of men don't know how to even handle being helped by a woman because their ego doesn't say thank you. It says, you made me feel weak. And that's the danger of patriarchy. You see, they're taught that a man must arrive by himself. So when you help him, he resents you. You helped him rise, you prayed for him, you stayed down, and now that he's stable, he wants someone new. You see, a woman who
But if the danger of patriarchy is saying that a man's supposed to do it for him, we're not even going to try to understand. Let her
at all gets to enjoy the version of him that you helped build. Sis, stop playing the builder and start being the prize. Because when you don't, this is exactly what happens. When you help a man build, you become his mother, not his match. You see,
And this is the results. This is why the divorce rate is where it's at. Because women said, fuck it. So thank y'all for coming. Hit the like button, subscribe. Till next time, I got another great topic tomorrow morning. I'll see y'all then.